Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. The company known as Bahamas Striping has been making strides recently in its relatively short existence, and we're very, very pleased to have them here to tell us their story. We believe it's a fascinating one, and we welcome the president, Mr. Atario Mitchell. We're joined by trainees Travis Johnson and Tristan Johnson, and along with Mr. Bob Bauer, who's from marketing. To all you gentlemen, welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. All right, now let's begin with you there, Mr. President. Tell us a little bit about how the idea started and how did you get to this point? Where did you come up with this idea of Bahamas striping?
Well, I first learned about striping from my uncle Kai Miller back in Freeport, and this was something that he wanted to do, and he wanted to make a company out of it, and he wasn't able to do so on a major scale. So with the assistance of the self-starter program, that's how I got started. I applied for the grant. I was able to successfully got it.
Which program is that?
The self-starter program, the government self-starter program.
Okay. You applied for the grant, and then you got the grant, and what happened?
Well, from there, it was full steam ahead into the striping business. I was able to put a good team together and got jobs.
It's interesting, though. How did you know what kind of equipment to buy?
Well, my first equipment I purchased is pretty much the similar one to what my uncle had.
Yeah.
So like once I decided to start a company, I went and researched, and then I came across this other method of striping, which is thermal striping. Okay. Which is a different machine from my pink machine.
So how many machines do you have now?
Presently, I have 2 machines.
The thermal striping and the paint machine.
And the paint machine.
All right. Now the sector you're in, there's a lot of competition. So how do you survive?
Well, this particular field was mainly controlled by a foreign company in the Bahamas.
Yes.
There's a few local companies that do striping as well, and I'm competing.
Yeah, well, you're in the game.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you. That's certainly wonderful news. Now, we have Travis and Tristan. They're both trainees. Tell us a little bit about why you became interested in Bahamas striping.
Basically, I got involved with Bahamas striping through the government placement program.
Okay.
Which I give the government great thanks, because at these times, young men and women like myself who was not in a job due to a few months, it gives us a chance to not seek just a job, but a career.
Wow, and how's it been going for you so far with Bahamas striping?
Greatly, man, greatly. I see this as a career and a stepping stone, you know.
Let me understand this now. So you got the grant, and then you were working through the government jobs placement program.
Right.
Yeah, that's really excellent. So here we have an idea or a situation where it's actually working and helping people. But what about you, Mr. Johnson? What's your experience been like?
My experience in the job has been great. You know, it's been a great experience for me. You know, just like Travis, I've also been turned over the Bahamas striping through the government job placement. So,
really?
It's really good. Looking forward. The last 3 weeks since I've been there so far, I've learned a lot. You know, understand what's happening between Paint Machine Tario. He's the president and my boss. He's been a great instructor. You know, he showed me well what's not.
Yeah, that's good. Why should anyone train a young man like you, though?
Well,
that's why.
Why should anyone train a young man like me? Because you can see the key word in that. You said young. I'm still young, still growing up, still learning in the world, still trying to become a man out there, to understand what's out there, to make something of myself. So, like I say, never too old to learn something new. You know, wisdom is key, and key is knowledge. So, I never complain if someone trying to teach me something new, but I can learn something to better myself.
Hey, that's an excellent attitude. I mean, that kind of attitude, you're going to go far. I can guarantee. Now, that's the Bahamas at Sunrise guarantee. That kind of attitude, you're going to go far. Mr. Bauer, I mean, these are the kinds of stories that we love to hear on television, where young people are organizing themselves to make better for themselves, you know, and not waiting on somebody to come and do it for them.
That's right.
How have you assisted with what we see here going on?
Well, I'm only in marketing. I'm part of the team, but I'm really in the background, more or less. And it's a big team effort, because the guys have got they've got to do good jobs. The quality's got to be there.
Yeah.
They've got to be on time. They've got to perform well, and they've got to be competitive.
And so, have you been assisting them in sort of selling their brand, so to speak?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, in terms of designing logos and doing the press releases and helping to organize things like great things like the Bahamas Sunrise show. And yeah, it's all part of the package.
Yeah, that's really wonderful stuff. Now, Mr. Mitchell, You heard Bauer say you have to be organized, you have to have the, the right work ethic, turn up to the job on time, do the work, and all the rest of the other formalities that go along with being competitive. How difficult was that element of the business where, sort of the human side? You have the machines and nobody doubts your skill, but when it comes to the human being side and the human element, how much of a challenge was that for you to manage?
Well, it wasn't much of a challenge because, like, when I started the company, I had a vision for the company as well. So I always wanted to be a professional company. Like some people been in business for a while, but then they still run their business as people call it a mom and pop store. How I set up the company is somewhat as a professional company. So we believe in professionalism and we have standards.
What projects are you working on?
Well, projects right now, currently, doing some work down at Bahamas, the first part of Bahamas. Then I have some work coming up in Auckland, as well as at the phase 2 of the airport.
Yeah, those are exciting projects, man. What do you see the future for yourself and the company? Where do you see yourself going? Give us a vision for 5 years down the road. Well,
5 years down the road, I see Bahamas Striping being the leading striping company in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And I hope I don't have to work so hard anymore. Like, I get Travis and Tristan there. Hopefully I can sit on and just like let them go and do the job.
Guess what? I see the vision too. It will be the largest and major player, but you're going to be right there working.
Yeah.
I can assure you. All right, Mr. Otario Mitchell, Travis Johnson, Tristan Johnson, Bob Bauer, thank you so much. Congratulations on what you've accomplished so far, and we look forward to even better days to come.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Our pleasure. Now you're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. There is a success story of the whole government assistance program that many of you thought wasn't a reality, but we want to congratulate you again. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be back after these messages.
Are you tired?